Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'm taking a look at Pleading with Stars, a collection of short stories by Ankeny, put out by Ad House Books. I grabbed this at a half-off booth at San Diego Comic-Con, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, boom, snatch. I remember seeing Kurt Ankeny. One of the stories in here was in Fantagraphics Now, and I remember the name, and this had been like on my list of books to get anyways, so to get it at half off, I couldn't pass that up. I'll point out which story it was that turned me on to Ankeny's work as we flip through. But this is a collection of short stories. Even though the styles that are in this book aren't styles that I work in, I kind of feel a kindred spirit with Kurt Ankeny just in the fact that there's like a bunch of different styles and a bunch of different types of stories and different types of comics in this book. I get really restless with these same kind of things, and so I always appreciate artists that seem to feel that same restlessness that are seeking in their work. And yeah, and then to have each story so accomplished as they are in this one is an extra big payoff. So this first story is just kind of like siblings competing to hook up with chicks, I think, which, it's like a nice little short story, but a nice like little watercolor vibe to it. Then there's a bit of a longer story, a 4-part story, Saltwater Snow. The first portion of it is done, it looks like it's done in just black and 3 colors, and so it looks like it was printed in spot colors, where you have Ankeny working with the pen and ink, and then it looks just like a red, yellow, and blue colored pencil. The reason I'm thinking maybe it's spot colors is because when you get like the reds and the blues really, really solid, they look just like solid ink. It doesn't look like a combination of colors. This, to me, seems a little orange for a straight yellow, but, I'm not sure if this could be the same color, just less intensely applied. So I think it's, 4-color, but with the yellow, red, blue, and black instead of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and they're separated out. So I really like that look. The story is about a girl who goes across the ocean to tell someone that she killed a relative. She killed their son, I think. So it's an intense story, and then she stays there and gets to know the person, and those are the other parts. I really love this image here where the cruise ship is approaching in the night while she's on her little canoe raft, and you get the lights of the ship up here, and that's all you see, and then you get their reflection distorted down there, and it's just this beautiful little abstraction, and then a spotlight being put on her canoe. But that image there is just so beautiful, and with those spot colors, it's just it's so vivid. It's and the printing on this book is amazing. Like the ink, like these saturated dark blues are just so beautiful. They're so sexy. In the rest of this story, Ankeny switches over to working with, it still looks like 3 colors, like the dark color, this lighter washy color, maybe it's only 2, and it's just the solid lines are this color solid, and then this red, and then the combinations of them with like a kind of a wash look to it, and I like that as well. It's interesting, the switch over though, because this stays consistent for the rest of the story, so I wonder why not this approach all the way throughout. But it still holds together as a good touching story, and like just beautiful art. Between December and March, this is the one that I had seen, I believe, in Fantagraphics Now, and was really in love with this like color pencil style. This is a look that I've been seeing more of, and I really, really like it. It printed, it feels like some kind of lithograph print from a stone, where you actually have like the crayon drawing on it, and you're getting all these different spot colors. But I know this is just someone working with colored pencil, but something about this look has been really appealing to me lately, and I've been thinking about how to mimic it by working with regular pencil and then adjusting things on the computer and maybe overlaying. I don't know, but I had seen this in Fantagraphics Now and just love the art. Now that I've been playing with the AI, I think part of what I like about like images like this And there's another image in the book, this one here, same kind of memory of this scene where the woman is yelling at this guy who's going to drive off. It feels like the AI. Like I've kind of been sad about how much better the AI, the Midjourney AI especially, is at drawing than me, because it has this same as Kurt Ankeny here, like not tied to reality. It's kind of getting the idea across without this fetishism of detail and perfection. I mean, obviously Ankeny can do that too, but I don't know that I could let myself go enough to draw an image like that, and that's something I would like to be able to get to in my art. So that, combined with all the color pencils, and then this is a real touching story about a girl looking for her father, who she just found out her mother actually knows who he is and where he's at. And she talks about going through Gilroy, California here. That's where the mother and father had broke up. She tells him to go screw himself. They're going in Gilroy, California. I have a buddy Gil from Gilroy, so Gil, if you're seeing this, what's up, dude? This made me think of you. So yeah, reading this again, I enjoyed it even more the second time, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the story I saw that made me have this name in my mind. I believe that was in a Fantagraphics Now. Mother Airplane, this is more just like kind of a piece of poetry, I think, than anything else. Again, it looks like working with colored pencils, and I just really, I mean, you can see these kind of primary colors butted up, primary and secondary colors butted up against each other, kind of Mondrian like, you know, use of the city just for abstraction. I think it's really pretty, really fun to look at. You know, the poetry didn't land so much. Stolen Sketches, this is an interesting 2-page where he's talking about being out in public and sketching people, which any of you who draw, I'm sure, have done this, and you know, like, the limited time you're on. And so it's just fun to see that. And I mean, obviously Kurt Ankeny can draw his ass off, because that's just a beautiful, direct, straight to ink, no messing about, no sketching. So that would be a fun thing to go do. I haven't done that in a while. I'm gonna have to try and draw in public. Then there's a big chunk of the book through a number of stories where Ankeny is obviously working in ink and using a lot of dry brush, but it's being printed in this this really dark. I'm colorblind, so I don't know. I'm assuming it's a dark blue, but maybe it's a dark purple. But it's so saturated on the page. The ink is so sexy. This story is about a guy who gets, you know, his car breaks down and someone picks him up, and they're kind of out in the middle of the desert. So that just really adds that like nighttime drama to it. And I mean, there's just beautiful drawing all throughout. This story, A Bomb, this is also done in that same kind of method, except in this one there's less of the dry brushy stuff. There's some of it as an effect, but it's really about these intensely saturated black images interspersed with these moments of like just straight line work. So this one's much more stark and graphic, and then when you do get those dry brush moments, that really makes it come alive and give it some oomph. You know, you kind of get these panels here and there that have it as effects. So I like that. Again, this is something I like about artists, is they're kind of restless. So you have like this technique, but like, okay, let's go the opposite, and how can I combine them? And I'm working with spot colors, and how do I take away the colors and just focus on one? How do I work with color and shape? And then how do I work just purely with line? Like, I can see all of those things going back and forth, like as trials that Ankeny is running, and I like it. This is more of just like, this seems like automatic drawing, automatic comic making, which is something I'm enjoying doing lately. And it just kind of has the rant of someone speculating about physics and stuff like that. So I think, you know, that's what you get when someone just does automatic stuff. I don't know that it's going to congeal, but it has that freshness to it, which is appealing. Then there's this series of abstract or experimental works. They're just kind of like 1 or 2 pages, just trying something out, getting an idea across. Probably some of these are just automatic at the end of the day, just messing around just to be drawing. I especially like this one here, you know, again, just playing with paint and materiality on the pages. So again, that restless artist, and I like the freshness of like look, he's like talking here, and like this is a word balloon, and then this turns into a word balloon in this guy's head. I don't know what any of it means, but it's in the language of comics, and so there's like all of these standard forms and elements of comics that I'm used to that I can then apply an interpretation on there, playing with ink. I don't know. It's someone who's playing, someone who's having fun, someone who's just willing to do something for the experiment of it. And, luckily these have been collected, but I'm sure there's more work like this by Ankeny that we'll probably never even see that are hanging around. I don't know. I hope not. And then this last story is kind of like a sci-fi story, and it looks much more European to me. Like, it looks like an attempt to do finished art, with line work and colors and stuff. It seems like an attempt at, I don't know, selling a graphic novel or something. It's a complete story, but I like that from the more poetic stuff or the more like down-to-earth day-to-day life stuff, then you also get like a couple sci-fi stories in here. Like this one here is a sci-fi story. This is just a straight like thriller type of story. There's some memoir. So a real wide variety of things in terms of genre as well as artistic style. And this seems like trying to pitch like for a longer form, maybe European graphic novel is kind of what it feels like, with that painted look and the sci-fi aspect to it is interesting. So this girl wants to access his special extra powerful computer because she's looking for things that we people, humans, know, but still don't know that we know. And he's like, what? Come again? And she says, humans, any intelligent creature can know something by knowing other things that can be clues to each other. He said, it's called inference. Yes, I know. I'm looking for clues in the map of human knowledge to piece our wisdom back together. After years of specialization, it's like the Tower of Babel in reverse. So she's trying to, after we've analyzed the whole world, she's trying to kind of download all of it at once, synthesize it all at once, and see what do we know in between the lines of things. And I think that's a very fascinating idea. I could see that pitch, like this girl going into the computer, going on to be a larger story, and like maybe it didn't get picked up, so it ends really abruptly. Or maybe this was just a short story all along. But this one really feels like a pitch to me for a larger, more interesting sci-fi story, something a little bit more commercial, but still really beautifully rendered. So yeah, with this whole variety that Ankeny has within just this one book and how successful each experiment is, I'm stoked. I'm sold. I gotta look for anything else that Kurt Ankeny has put out. And hopefully this is an artist that will continue to do short experimental works, but hopefully will also be able to do some, really like career-defining long-form pieces as well. So definitely, this came out in 2019. Definitely go check it out and support Kurt Ankeny, because hopefully we'll be getting a lot more work from him. And if you want to support what we do here on the channel, the best thing you can do is buy the books that Sean has put out through Living the Line and that he has coming out through Living the Line. So we'll take a look at a few of those products now. Eric Creek's The Exile, which has been described by the artist as his Viking Western. It's a really intense story of revenge, rendered with this beautiful pen and ink style, and then these couple of spot colors that were also done in layers on ink and then converted into color. So that's just a really, really beautiful book, and a really intense story. There's also Yokoyama Yuichi's Plaza, which is a totally intense manga by an artist who has somehow figured out how to distill manga down to its purest essence. This book was successfully funded on Kickstarter, but if you missed the Kickstarter, you can order it through any comic store, any bookstore, Amazon, any place that you would normally get your graphic novels from. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.